Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel InvisibleKing. In this video, we are going to understand what is the basic strategy, basic techniques and the basic principle how you can use them together to win the game. And we will see all those things in just one game, and we will try to understand how those things work together. Let's try to understand all the basic facts and the strategies you need to know to win the game in this game. So this is a game played by two grandmasters. It is a brilliant game. White won this game and White is playing a brilliant chess here. It is a combination of the strategy, technique and tactics and the opening principle that you must use in your every single game. The game starts with the e4 move. Black plays e5 and then we are playing the knight to attack the pawn. You can see the pawn on e5 is in danger. Black is guarding it with the pawn, and now the basic principle says that you need to control this 4 center square in the game, and that will give you the control all over the board, and it is really good for your game. So Black is playing pawn to protect the pawn, but it is not thinking about the other square that he need to control. He could play knight c6 move here to protect the pawn, and he is controlling one more square, which is a d4 square, and the d4 square is a center square. But opponent is playing pawn to d6. A simple move to protect the pawn, and we push the pawn to d4, attacking the pawn on e5, the center square, and if opponent captures our pawn, we captures back with the queen. Now you can see the queen is on d4. Opponent can attack our queen by playing knight c6. Knight c6 is attacking my queen. Queen is in danger. You must know that if you are playing one piece again and again in the opening, then it is kind of bad for your position. You won't be developing the other pieces. You won't be playing or giving them a chance to play with their potential, and you will lose the game. So that's why White is playing a one more brilliant move here. He's playing bishop to b5, pinning the knight, not allowing him to move the knight. It is a pin. Knight cannot move anymore. Now opponent played a very simple move, bishop to d7, and again the queen is in danger. He's ready to capture our queen. What we will do? Of course, like I said, moving the one piece again and again in the game, it will take time and you won't get the chance to develop your other pieces. So White took a decision here. White took the knight. Eliminating the knight is making our queen safe, but the bishop is now attacking one of the center square and the pawn on e4. It is not a very serious threat right now, but yes, he can put more pressure on the pawn and he can capture the pawn. So we are developing our knight to protect the center square and to develop one more piece on c3 square. Opponent is using his knight, and you can see how White is trying to control the center square, protecting the pawn, how Black is trying to put pressure on the pawn and attacking the center square. White did castling. Why? Because he is not going to capture our pawn. Yes, he is attacking with two pieces, but we are also defending with two pieces. If he want to capture our pawn, then he need to attack with 3. Unfortunately, Black does not have that power to attack with 3 right now, and even if he is trying to use his queen to attack our pawn, we can immediately defend with the rook, and he won't be able to capture that. After this castling, Black is playing bishop to e7, developing a piece, and he is trying to make his king safe like we did. We castle the king so we can keep our king safe, and that's really important. You must do castling in every single game. After this bishop e7, we played knight d5, a brilliant move, controlling the center square. Not only that, we are restricting our opponent pieces. He took our knight immediately because he knew that that knight was really dangerous. Of course, I cannot take back with the queen. I must capture with the pawn. If I take back with the queen, the knight is going to capture my queen and I will lose the game. So we took with the pawn. You can see the pawn is on the d5, but it's not bad pawn. He did castling and keeping the king safe, trying to use the rook in the open file. He's trying to activate his rook, but we played a brilliant move, bishop to g5. Bishop g5 is attacking the opponent knight, and at correct time we will eliminate the knight for sure. It's not like I played the bishop g5 so I can capture the knight immediately. No, we are not going to capture it. We will wait for the correct moment and then only we will capture the knight. Remember, many players, they just eliminate the pieces randomly. You cannot do that. If you try to eliminate pieces randomly, for example, if you play the pawn, you capture, he captures, suddenly you have attack, and if you are saving your piece, you can lose your pawn, or it is not back because your pieces are moving backwards. We want to move forward and we will capture the knight, but when it is correct time, when it is correct moment to capture a piece. So after bishop g5, he played pawn to c6. Putting pressure on the pawn, and now his idea is to capture the pawn with the knight. The pawn is already attacking the d5 square, and if the knight jumps on this square, the pawn will protect that knight also. So we are playing pawn c4, guarding the pawn, keeping the center strong, and we are not allowing our opponent to play whatever they want. He captures, we captures back, and pawn is still in the center. We finally have a position where we have a queen in the center that is controlling the squares. Knight is controlling the center square, pawn is controlling the center square, and all our pieces are much stronger as compared to the black pieces. You can see the black bishop, it's stuck with his own pieces. The knight is standing there, but he's not doing many things, he's just attacking a pawn. And that is not enough to win the game. So he's moving his rook in the open file so that rook can be useful. We will also play rook to e1, and the idea is keeping the file under control. Remember, your rooks are always good in the open file. Make sure whenever you see the open file, you will keep the rook in that open file, and that will help you to control the squares and to dominate in the position. Pawn to a5 was played to stop this queen b4 plan, and it is very important move. See, opponent is not playing any random move. He is understanding what white wants to play, what is the plan here for the white, and before even we are playing that plan, he stopped our plan by playing this pawn to a5 move. Now queen b4 square, it's not available for queen. We cannot play our queen b4. Pawn will capture that. And this is what the true player can do. They always have a good understanding about their opponent position, and they know what is the best for them. And of course, before playing their best move, they are going to stop them. We played rook e2, the excellent move, and now the idea is we want to put the other rook on e1 square. Opponent played rook to c8, and that rook c8 move, it looks very natural, but it is not a really good move because we will play this rook to e1 move, and now you can see our rooks are dominant. The opponent rook, they are standing in the open file, but they are not very useful. Queen d7 was played, and here is a brilliant strategy or tactic you can use in the game. The tactic is you capture the knight, he captures back, and you give up the queen. He will not capture our queen. If he tries to capture our queen, he will lose the game immediately because there will be check and checkmate. He lost the game. So after this queen g4 move, the black understood, okay, he is not going to capture the queen. He cannot capture the queen, otherwise he will lose the game. So he played his queen to b5 square. Again, white is playing a brilliant move. Queen c4. You can see the queen, it's attacked by two pieces, and still he cannot capture the queen, because if he try to capture with the queen, we will capture the rook on e8, he captures, we captures, and game over. We won the game. What if he captures with the rook? Still it is not going to work for him because after this rook capture, queen captures, rook captures, it is a checkmate again. See how brilliantly white played this queen c4 move. That queen is completely unguarded, nobody is protecting it, but you cannot capture that queen. And that is what we call a tactic. And he played queen to d7, going back to the square, d7 square. But again, white is taking the advantage of the fact that this queen cannot go away from this diagonal. If he's moving away, then I will be capturing the rook. He captures, we captures, and that is a checkmate. The checkmate is not possible right now because if I captures, then rook captures. One more time if I captures, the queen will capture back and it is not a checkmate. So white plan is to move this queen away from this diagonal and then he wants to do checkmate. So this is what we call a strategy. So after this queen c4 move, black cannot capture the queen and he went back to d7 square, but then we will play a very interesting move, queen c7. See, again the brilliant move, that queen is attacked by two pieces, but nobody can capture the queen. If he try to capture with the queen, he will lose the game, check and mate. If he try to capture the queen with the rook, again he will lose the game, check and mate. So after this queen c7 move, white is dominating in the position and black is trying to save his queen. He's moving his queen to b5 square again, and his queen, it's not going to leave that diagonal, otherwise he's going to lose the game. We played here pawn to a4, trying to kick this queen forcefully away from the diagonal so we can do the checkmate. He took our pawn, yes, that pawn was unguarded, and yes, he can capture our pawn, but see, that capture, it's not a simple capture. Actually, white give up that pawn for a plan, and the plan is rook e4 move. Now this queen cannot stand here. The queen cannot stand here because of the pawn. Queen cannot stand here because queen will capture, and he cannot capture my queen because rook capture c8 will be checkmate. He cannot play this queen away from the diagonal because rook captures c8 will be checkmate again. So he's playing queen b5 and queen captures b7, and you can see the queen does not have any single square in this diagonal. There is no safe square for the queen, and you know that if queen try to move away from the diagonal, there is a checkmate, and the white won the game. And you can see how brilliantly white played this game. To play in the center, he attacked in the center, he kept his rook in the open file, he dominated in the position by controlling the center square, he exchanged the pieces on the correct times, and he won the game. So this is how you're supposed to play a game, following by basic principles, controlling the center square, developing your pieces, keeping the rooks in the open file, and always look for a tactics. So I hope you understood the game. This is the brilliant game played in 19th century by two excellent grandmasters. I hope you understood everything. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section and I will try to give answer to all your questions.